Yo, what's good, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So guys, on today's video I'm going to show you guys how to make those hard, dark, cinematic type beats inside of FL Studio. So without wasting much of your time, let's get to today's video. So guys, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a range for my BPM, and for my BPM I want to go for something around 140 to 150 BPM. So I think I'll just probably stick in the middle. I think I'll go for 146 BPM. And the next thing I'm going to do is to get a piano VST. I think I would go for addictive keys. So once I have this open up, I'm just going to pick a preset. I am going to use this Roomy Pop preset. But before I get into making the chord progression, I just want to show you guys a little trick I used to do to easily come up with chord progressions. All you need to do if you're using FL Studio is go down to this drop down menu right here, go to view, and then go over to scale highlighting. As you can see, we have root notes and we have scales. So for your root notes, you just have to pick a root note you want to work with. So I'm going to pick D sharp. Since we're actually trying to go for a dark cinematic type beat, I'd rather you go for the minor natural Aeolian. And as you can see, we already have our scale pulled up. The notes that are actually blacked out, which are this. These notes are all notes in the scale of D sharp minor. So I'm just going to delete this, while the ones that are actually highlighted are the notes that are in the scale of D sharp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use the piano to come up with something very catchy, and then I'm just going to switch it up later. So let's do something like this. Since our root note is D sharp, I'm going to place the first note on our root notes, and then I'm going to do something like this. Bring this down an octave. Copy this over like this. And then another thing you need to consider when making dark cinematic type beats like this, after you set your root notes, once you're making your chords or you're making your melodies, you want to make sure you make use of these two notes that are actually highlighted together, because these notes actually help going to produce tension in your melody. So what that means is I'm just going to bring this down like this. So I'm going to copy this over, Ctrl B, Ctrl B, Ctrl B. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy everything over. Instead of having everything just repeat, I'm going to bring this whole part down 4 semitones. So it's just going to give it that dark vibe that I'm actually looking for. So I'm going to bring this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this I'm going to bring this down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still on how we are using double notes that are actually highlighted together to create tension, and then I'm going to bring this down like this. So it's going to sound like this. Since I already have this going on, I'm going to open up this plugin called the Prince. So this, I'm trying to get like a pad, so I'm going to go over to the pad section and I'm going to look for something that sounds really good. So I'm going to copy this over to this and turn this off. Let's try this. I think I like this, but I'm going to turn off the distortion. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the piano. I'm going to delete this. Then I'll just use the root notes, which is this, and then this. I'm going to bring everything down an octave, just like this. But then I'm going to extend it, Ctrl L. So basically I'm just doing this just to add more depth to the melodies. I'm also going to bring this down an octave once more. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to double this up and then bring it down one more time. So I'm going to hold shift, click on it, and then bring this down. So this is what we have. And with this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomize the velocities of this. So I'm going to hold Alt R, just use this knob right here, click accept, and then I'm just going to link them both to the mixer so I can add some effects. So I'm going to select everything, click on the first mixer track, hold shift, Ctrl and L, just link everything, and then I'm going to go over to the pad, add the frequency parameter EQ, kind of boost the highs, cut out the lows. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add RC20. And then with this, I'm going to go over to the preset menu and I'm going to use this Pad Magic preset, turn off the noise. And then I'm also going to add a chorus plugin. I'm going to use the style chorus LX. And with this, I'm just going to bring this down like this. Just like this. For the piano, I'm just going to add the fruity parameter EQ. Kind of boost the highs a little. I'm going to put this to steep 8, and then I'm just going to cut out some of the lows like this. And then moving on, I'm just going to use the piano to get more like a high notes, catchy, repetitive melody. So I'm going to clone this, and then with this, I'm just going to go to the gallery, and then I'm going to use this preset called Miles Away. So using our scale, since we already have our scale highlighted, it's just going to be easy to come up with melodies. So like this. So I think I like where this is going, so I'm just going to hold this and then just Ctrl B, copy everything over. But then for this part, I kind of want this to be a bit different from the other, so I'm just going to add some minor adjustment to this. So I'm going to bring this down instead. I'm going to take this to a G sharp, and then I'm going to bring this down like this, take this up, so it's going to sound like this. I'm just going to hold Alt R to randomize velocities. But then for this, I'm going to add some effects. So I'm going to start with the fruity parameter EQ2. And then what I'm going to do this, I'm just going to boost it a little, boost the highs. I think I'm just going to add some compression because I think the volume is a little bit too low. So basically this just makes it sound a little bit more crisp. I really love the way this compressor plugin just makes it sound really nice. So moving on, I'm going to add the Valhalla Supermassive, and for this I'm going to use the chorus lap preset. So I'm going to go over to mod, go to chorus, and I'm going to use this chorus lap preset, but then I'm going to bring this down like this. And then I'm also going to add reverb, and for that I'm going to be using the Valhalla Vintage Verb. Bring this down like this. And I'm also going to add the Fruity Delay 3 just to add some delay. I'm going to use the ping pong preset. I'm going to bring the weights down to around like maybe 30-35%. Just to add more dark cinematic vibe. I'm going to be using these violin one shots. Like this. I'm going to turn this off. And then like I said, just add tension. I'm going to add a note here like this, shorten this, and I'm also going to shorten this just here like this. I'm going to open up the sampler for the one shot. I'm going to turn this use loop points off. I'm going to go over to the envelope section. I'm going to bring the attack down, increase the hold, bring the decay, sustain, and release down like this a little. And then for this, I'm going to start with the fruity parameter EQ, and I'm just going to cut out some of the lows, boost the highs, and then I'm going to add the Valhalla Supermassive. I'm going to use the default preset, but then I'm going to bring the mix level down to like 40%. And then I think I'm also going to add the Valhalla Supermassive one more time. I think I like this, but I'm going to bring the mix level down as well. But then for the low piano note, just to transition from this whole part to the next, I think I'm just going to drag this in like this, and then I'm going to add a note here. Same thing as this, so it's going to sound like this. But then instead of using like a typical bass, I just feel like doing something a little bit more different. So I'm going to be using this 808 instead. So I'm going to drag this in, I'm going to normalize this, put this time to none, and then put this to resample. So I'm going to be using this, but I'm just going to right click and then click on cut itself. I'm going to put this right here. And then I'm just going to hold Ctrl L just to extend the note. This is what we are going to be using as our bass. basically that's going to be it for the melody. We already have everything. I love the way it sounds. I'm not trying to add too much to the melody because I actually do not want it to be busy. So whatever that is missing from the melody, I'm going to compensate for that with the drums. So yeah guys, moving on for the drums, I already have my drums selected. So basically I'm just going to start with the hi-hat. I'm just going to right click and then I'm just going to do Phillies 2 steps. But then for the hi-hat, I'm just going to open up the sampler and then I'm going to use this out knob and then try to like fade it in a little. I want it to be a bit sharper like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold Ctrl L, and then now I'm going to go over to my snap to grade. I'm going to put this to 1/3 step, delete this, and then for this part I'm just going to do something like this, 2 3, take this up and then add a note like this, copy this, Ctrl B just to paste this over, but then just add some more rhythm to the hi-hat. I'm going to add some low notes. And then add the notes right here, and I'm just going to copy this over. And then for the snare, I'm just going to put this right here, just like this. And I'm just going to hold, and I'm going to repeat this over. Ctrl B. And I want this to just come in only at this part right here, so I'm just going to copy this over. And then for this perk, I'm going to just use this. I want this to come in more like towards the end and then over here. And I'm just going to copy this over. Ctrl B. And then for the bell, I'm just going to find more like the right key for the bell. Bring this down. And then moving on to the 808, I'm just going to first of all just go over to the envelope section. I'm going to bring the attack down, increase the hold, and then I'm going to bring the decay, sustain, and the release all down. Then I'm going to come back down, but then I think this sounds a bit low, so I'm going to take this up an octave. So add in like this, and I'm going to take this up an octave, so like this. Take this up an octave, I'm going to bring this down an octave, so it's going to sound like this. And then basically the only thing left to do now is the open hat. I'm just going to copy this over and then just round everything up. I'm going to add this really cool vocal, and then I'm going to try to like time stretch this to fit with our tempo. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this to stretch, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pitch this to D sharp, so I'm going to bring this down like 400 cents. So after adding all the effects and transitions, I arranged the beat, and this is what the final product sounds like.
Oh yeah, that's definitely spicy.
Hey, you Kanzii, spice that shit up.
So yeah guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. I hope you guys learned something at least from this video. If you did, don't forget to go down there, give this video a like. Make sure to like this video guys. It's just going to help the YouTube algorithm push this video out to producers out there that struggle to make hard cinematic type beats like this. And while you're there, don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel because I know a lot of you guys do not actually subscribe. You just watch and then you just leave immediately. So that's going to be all for today guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions also, make sure to go down there, leave them down in the comment section and I'll join you guys there. Thank you guys for watching. That's going to be all today guys. See you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.